The phone vibrated in Claire Brennan's black dress pocket at the exact moment the priest said her sister's name. Not Emma's name as the world knew it. Not the carefully curated version their parents had polished for the eulogy. No one had called her that in 15 years. Not since the summer Emma turned 13 and declared childhood nicknames social suicide. Their parents had certainly never used it. Affection in the Brennan household was dispensed like medication, carefully measured and always with purpose. Claire's vision blurred. Not with tears. Those had dried up sometime around day 3, when she'd realized her grief felt wrong, infected with something darker. No, this was rage and hope and terror mixing into something combustible. She looked up at the casket again. Mahogany and brass, expensive and empty. What the hell was in there? The priest invited everyone to stand for the final prayer. Claire rose on autopilot, her body moving through motions while her mind raced. Her parents stood in perfect synchronized grief, her mother's hand finding her father's, their fingers interlocking in a display of united sorrow. Claire saw it differently now. Saw the tightness in her father's grip. The way her mother's thumb pressed against his palm, not comfort, but communication. A language they'd perfected over 32 years of marriage, of secrets, of whatever the hell this was. They're watching you. Don't react. Claire bowed her head and pretended to pray while her phone burned like a coal in her pocket. Outside, October rain had started to fall, turning the San Francisco afternoon gray and cold. The hearse waited like a patient predator, ready to carry the empty casket to the empty grave where they'd bury empty lies. And somewhere out there, Emma was alive. The question that turned Claire's blood to ice wasn't how.
It was why.
Why would Emma fake her own death? Why would their parents, if the texts were true, be complicit in covering up? What had Emma discovered? What had she gotten close to that required her erasure? The prayer ended. People began filing out, a slow procession of umbrellas and uncomfortable shoes. Claire felt her mother's hand on her shoulder, cool and light as a spider. "You're being very strong, darling," Diane whispered, her breath mint-fresh and wrong against Claire's ear. Emma would be proud. Claire met her mother's eyes, ice blue, beautiful, empty, and smiled the smile she'd learned at this woman's knee. The smile that revealed nothing and promised less. "Thank you, Mother." If Diane noticed the tremor in Claire's voice, she didn't show it. She simply patted Claire's shoulder once more and glided away, a vision in black Chanel and practiced grief. Claire's phone buzzed one final time. Unknown number. Trust no one. Especially not the handsome one in the back row. He's not here for Emma. Claire's head snapped up, searching the thinning crowd. Back row, left side. A man in his early 30s, dark hair, expensive suit that didn't quite hide the athletic build beneath.
He wasn't crying.
Wasn't even pretending to be sad. He was watching, no, studying, her parents with the focused intensity of a predator selecting prey. As if sensing her gaze, his eyes shifted to meet hers. Gray eyes. Storm cloud gray. Sharp and assessing. He didn't look away. Didn't smile. Just held her stare for 3 seconds that felt like 3 hours before giving the slightest nod, acknowledgement or warning. Claire couldn't tell, and turning toward the exit. Who the hell was that? And why was Emma warning her about him? The pallbearers, her father's golf buddies, men who'd never once asked Emma about her dreams, lifted the casket. Claire watched them carry whatever was inside toward the door, toward the rain, toward the cemetery where they'd perform the final act of this elaborate lie. Page 47 of the guest book. After the burial. Claire touched her pocket, felt the phone's weight like a grenade. Her sister was alive. Her parents were lying. And Claire Brennan, middle child and perpetual peacekeeper, was about to burn her entire life down to find out why. The church bells began to toll. Deep, resonant, final. But this wasn't an ending. This was the beginning of something so much worse. What do you think is really going on? Drop your theories in the comments. I'm reading every single one, and trust me, some of you are going to get very close to the truth. But nobody's going to guess what's on page 47 of that guest book. The cemetery stretched across the hillside like a city of the dead, marble monuments competing for prominence even in death. Very San Francisco. Very Brennan. Claire stood under a black umbrella she didn't remember opening, watching dirt hit the casket in rhythmic thuds that matched her pulse. 20 feet away, her father accepted condolences with the warm handshakes of a man who'd built his reputation on steady hands and steady nerves. Dr. Thomas Brennan, who could slice into a human brain without flinching, who'd saved countless lives, who might have erased his own daughter. Claire. She turned. Her older brother stood there, rain beating on his glasses. Nathan Brennan had their father's height, their mother's eyes, and none of the warmth Emma used to carry like sunlight. "You okay?" Nathan asked, but his attention was on his phone, already moving on. He'd flown in from New York yesterday, would fly back tomorrow. Emma's death was an interruption to his hedge fund career, nothing more.
Fine, Claire lead. Good.
Mom's worried you're taking this too hard. Maybe you should see someone. Talk to someone. He finally looked up. Dad knows a psychiatrist. Excellent. Discreet. Discreet. The Brennan family motto.
Ay, fine, Nathan.
He nodded, relieved to be dismissed from brotherly duty, and walked away. Claire watched him go, wondering if he was part of whatever this was, or just another victim of their parents' carefully constructed reality. The texts had stopped after the church. 23 minutes of silence that felt like drowning. Claire had memorized every word.
I'm alive.
Don't trust our parents. The accident was staged. They're watching you. And the warning about the handsome stranger. She scanned the funeral crowd. He wasn't here. Whoever he was, he'd disappeared after the church, like smoke. Her mother materialized at her elbow. Diane Brennan had perfected the art of movement without sound, of appearing exactly where she wanted to be. "Darling, people are heading to the house. The caterers are set up. We should go." The Brennan house. Where Claire had grown up in well-decorated silence, where emotions were diagnosed as problems to be solved, where Emma had learned to hide her light until it burned too bright to contain. Emma, who'd been wild and brilliant, and everything their parents couldn't control. Emma, who'd called Claire 3 weeks ago, voice shaking. "I found something. Something about the foundation. Claire, I think Mom and Dad are." The call had cut off. Emma had texted later. "Never mind. I was wrong. Love you." Claire hadn't pushed. She'd been too busy with her own life, her marketing job, her safe apartment in Oakland, her careful distance from the Brennan gravitational pull. Now that distance felt like cowardice. "I'll be there soon," Claire said. "I need a minute." Her mother's perfectly shaped eyebrow arched. "Don't be long. People will notice."
People.
Always people. The Brennan family existed in the eyes of others, their worth measured in social capital and charitable donations. Diane walked away, leaving behind the scent of Chanel No. 5 and something underneath it, something chemical and cold. The mourners thinned. The gravediggers waited at a respectful distance, ready to finish their work. Claire turned toward the cemetery's main building, a Gothic structure that housed the administrative offices. And the guest book. Inside, the building smelled like lilies and old paper. A bored attendant sat at the front desk, scrolling through her phone. She barely glanced up as Claire approached. "The guest book from the Brennan service?"
Claire asked.
"Should be in the archive room. Through there." The attendant gestured vaguely. The archive room was small, lined with shelves of leather-bound books documenting decades of grief. Claire found today's book easily, the newest, the leather still stiff. Her hands shook as she opened it. Page 47. The page was filled with signatures, condolences written in various hands. "Our deepest sympathies. Gone too soon. In our prayers." And there, in the middle of the page, in handwriting Claire would recognize anywhere, The truth is buried where we buried the time capsule.
Come alone.
Come tonight. Destroy this after you read it.
E.
The time capsule. Claire's breath caught. Summer of 2008. Emma was 15, Claire was 13. They'd buried it in the woods behind the old Brennan estate in Sausalito, the house their parents had sold 5 years ago. They'd filled it with stupid teenage treasures, notes, photos, a USB drive with Emma's favorite songs. And Emma had insisted on including something else. A journal. Just in case, she'd said, we need to remember who we really are. Claire had thought it was dramatic teenage nonsense. Now it looked like survival planning. She tore the page from the book carefully, folded it, and tucked it into her bra. Then she walked out, past the attendant, into the rain. Her phone buzzed. Unknown number. Good girl. Delete this thread. Get a burner phone. The one you're holding is compromised. Claire stopped on the cemetery steps. Compromised. Her parents were tracking her phone? Another text. And Claire? That man from the church? His name is Jack Dawson. FBI. He thinks Emma stole something. He's wrong about what, but he's not wrong that she took it. FBI. Emma had stolen something. Their parents had faked her death. Claire stood in the rain, watching water stream off gravestones, and felt her entire reality crack like ice. What would you do in Claire's position? Seriously, drop a comment because this girl is about to make some dangerous decisions, and I want to know if you'd be brave enough or crazy enough to do the same. And if you're getting invested in this story, smash that subscribe button because what happens next is going to wreck you. 20 yards away, a black sedan idled in the parking lot. Tinted windows. Engine running. Watching. Claire deleted the text thread, her fingers clumsy with adrenaline. Then she walked toward her car, feeling eyes on her back like crosshairs. Emma was alive. Emma had stolen something worth dying for, or worth pretending to die for. And tonight, Claire would dig up the truth from the ground where they'd buried their childhood. She just had to survive until then. The Brennan house was full of liars. Claire stood in the marble foyer, accepting condolences from people who'd never known Emma, while caterers circulated with champagne and finger sandwiches. A funeral reception that looked more like a gallery opening. Her mother's influence, even grief, had to be aesthetically pleasing. Such a tragedy, Mrs. Patterson murmured, gripping Claire's hand. The woman ran the hospital charity board with Diane. Your poor mother is being so brave. Claire watched her mother across the room, laughing softly at something the mayor said.
Brave. Sure.
Excuse me, Claire murmured, extracting herself. She needed to leave, to get to Sausalito before dark, to find whatever Emma had buried. But her father appeared, blocking her path to the door.
Claire.
A word. It wasn't a request. He guided her into his study, all dark wood and medical journals, the walls lined with diplomas and awards. Dr. Thomas Brennan, Humanitarian of the Year. Surgeon of Excellence. Father of the Year, according to a plaque Emma had given him ironically for his 50th birthday. He closed the door. How are you holding up? He asked, pouring himself scotch from the crystal decanter. He didn't offer her any. Really? I'm fine, Dad. You left the burial quickly. His eyes, the same hazel as hers, studied her face, looking for symptoms. Diagnosis.
Lies.
Your mother was concerned. I needed air. Understandable.
He sipped his drink.
Grief manifests differently in everyone. As a physician, I see it constantly. Some people cry. Some go numb. Some.
He paused.
Some look for answers where there are none. Conspiracy, where there's only tragedy. Claire's blood turned to ice water. I don't understand, she said carefully. Emma's death was an accident.
A terrible, random accident.
He set down his glass with precision. The police confirmed it. The medical examiner confirmed it. There's no mystery here, Claire. Just a young woman who took a curve too fast in the rain and died instantly. I know that. Do you? He moved closer. Because if you were struggling with acceptance, if you were perhaps experiencing some kind of break with reality, we'd want to help you. Get you the support you need. Before you did something regrettable. The threat was wrapped in velvet, but it was still a threat.
Ai fine, dad.
Just sad. She forced tears to her eyes. Easier than expected.
Imis her.
His expression softened fractionally. We all do, sweetheart. She was. He looked away. She was difficult, but she was ours. Difficult. Emma had been difficult the way wildfire is difficult, impossible to contain, bright enough to burn. I should get back, Claire said. People will notice. Yes. He opened the door. Oh, and Claire? I noticed your phone was off during the burial. It's important you stay reachable. For your mother's sake. She needs her family close right now. He'd noticed. Of course he'd noticed. The phone she'd turned off to prevent tracking, the 20 minutes she'd been unreachable. Of course, Claire said, her smile plastic and perfect. I'll keep it on. She escaped into the hallway, her heart hammering. Her father knew something. Suspected something. The way he talked about conspiracy, about breaks from reality, he was preemptively discrediting her. If she started asking questions, he'd have her labeled unstable. Brilliant. Terrifying. Very Thomas Brennan. Claire pushed through the crowd, desperate for exit, when someone caught her arm. The man from the church. Storm gray eyes. Up close, he was younger than she'd thought, maybe 32, with a jaw that looked carved and a suit that screamed federal agent. Jack Dawson. FBI. Miss Brennan, he said quietly. I'm sorry for your loss. Thank you. She tried to pull away. Emma's warning echoed. Don't trust him. I was hoping we could talk. About your sister. His grip was gentle but firm. Maybe somewhere private? I don't think. Emma contacted me 3 weeks ago, he said, low enough that only she could hear. She said she had evidence of financial crimes.
Wide fraud.
Money laundering. She was scared, Ms. Brennan. She said if anything happened to her, it wouldn't be an accident. The room tilted. That's insane, Claire whispered. My parents are respected, wealthy, untouchable. His gray eyes bored into hers. I know. That's why Emma died before she could testify. She died in a car accident. Did she? He released her arm, pulled out a business card. When you're ready to know the truth, call me. I can protect you, but only if you trust me. Claire stared at the card. Special Agent Jack Dawson, Financial Crimes Unit. I have nothing to say to you, she said, but she took the card, slipped it into her pocket. Your sister was brave, Jack said. She was trying to do the right thing. Don't let her die for nothing. He walked away, disappearing into the crowd like a ghost. Claire's hands shook. Emma had gone to the FBI? With evidence against their parents? That's what this was, embezzlement, fraud, something financial. The foundation. It had to be the foundation. The Brennan Foundation for Neurological Research. Millions in donations. Galas. Grants. Her parents' legacy project. Emma had found something wrong with it. Something worth killing for. Except Emma wasn't dead. Claire's mind raced. If Emma had gone to the FBI, if she'd planned to testify, then faking her death made sense. She'd gone underground. Into witness protection? Or something else. Come alone. Come tonight. Claire checked her watch. 4:47 p.m. She needed to leave now if she wanted to reach Sausalito before dark, to dig up the time capsule, to find Emma's truth. But first she needed a burner phone. She found her mother in the living room, holding court with the grief tourists. Mom, I need to run to the store. Pick up some things. Diane's eyes narrowed.
Now?
Claire, people are. I'll be back in an hour. Promise. She kissed her mother's cheek, tasted powder and lies. I just need some air. Some space. Understanding flickered in Diane's expression. Of course, darling.
Take your time.
grief is. She dabbed at dry eyes. It's overwhelming. Claire walked out the front door into gray October afternoon and didn't look back. She didn't see her father watching from his study window. Didn't see him pull out his phone and make a call. Didn't see the black sedan pull away from the curb 3 houses down, following at a careful distance. But she felt it, the weight of eyes, of danger, of a trap closing around her like a fist. Emma was alive. And Claire was about to find out why that was more terrifying than death. The burner phone cost $40 at a convenience store in Daly City. Claire paid cash, hands still shaking, while the clerk barely looked up from his magazine. She activated it in her car, watching the rearview mirror for the black sedan. Nothing. Maybe she was paranoid. Or maybe they were just that good. The drive to Sausalito should have taken 30 minutes. Claire took an hour, doubling back through side streets, pulling into parking garages and waiting, watching, learning tradecraft from spy movies and pure terror. By the time she reached the old Brennan estate, the sun was sinking into the Pacific, painting everything blood orange. The house looked different, smaller. The new owners had repainted it sage green, added solar panels, turned her childhood prison into someone else's dream home. Claire parked 2 blocks away and approached on foot, staying in the shadows of coastal oaks. The woods behind the property were unchanged, still wild, still secret. She and Emma had spent summers here, building forts and telling stories, escaping their parents' suffocating expectations. The time capsule was buried beneath the lightning-split oak, 20 yards into the woods. Claire remembered because Emma had insisted, lightning never strikes the same place twice. It'll be safe here forever. Claire found the tree as darkness fell. The split trunk was wider now, the scar healed into gnarled wood. She pulled out her phone, the burner, and used its flashlight to search the ground.
There.
A flat stone they'd marked with pink nail polish. The polish was long gone, but Claire recognized the stone's shape. She didn't have a shovel. Used a stick instead, digging into soft earth, praying the new owners hadn't landscaped, hadn't discovered their buried secrets. 6 inches down, her stick hit metal. Claire's heart hammered. She dug with her hands now, pulling up dirt and leaves until she uncovered the small fireproof box they'd stolen from their father's office. Emma's idea. Everything was Emma's idea. The box was locked. The key was supposed to be. Claire checked the tree's split trunk, fingers searching the hollow, still there. Wrapped in plastic. Waiting. She unlocked the box with trembling fingers. Inside, photos of them as kids, notes they'd written, friendship bracelets, a dried corsage from Emma's junior prom. And underneath it all, Emma's journal. Claire pulled it out. Leather-bound, pages swollen with age and moisture. She opened it, expecting teenage angst and poetry. Instead, the first page had fresh writing. Recent. Emma's handwriting, but tight with fear. Claire, if you're reading this, I'm either dead or I had to disappear. Either way, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for dragging you into this, but you're the only one I trust. Mom and Dad aren't who we think they are. The foundation is a front. They've been laundering money for years, millions of dollars from sources I'm still tracing. I found the accounts.
Offshore.
Cayman Islands. Switzerland. But it's worse than that. The foundation funds neurological research, right? Except some of that research. Claire, they're experimenting on people. Patients without consent. Using Dad's position at the hospital to recruit subjects who won't be missed. Homeless. Undocumented. People who disappear and no one asks questions. I have proof. Financial records, patient files, everything. I copied it all to a USB drive. Claire's vision blurred. She forced herself to keep reading. I'm taking the evidence to the FBI. Agent Jack Dawson. He specializes in medical fraud. I meet with him next week. If something happens to me before then, the USB drive is in the place we felt safest.
Where we were most ourselves.
You know where I mean. I love you, Claire Bear. I'm sorry I was the difficult one. I'm sorry I couldn't just be what they wanted. Stay safe. Trust no one.
A.
The journal entry was dated 3 weeks ago. Claire sat back against the tree, her whole body numb. Human experimentation. Money laundering. Her parents, respected pillars of society, were monsters. And Emma had tried to expose them. But Emma had never made it to her FBI meeting. The accident happened first. Except it wasn't an accident. Claire's phone, the burner, buzzed. Unknown number. Unknown number. Did you find it? Claire's fingers flew across the keys. Emma? Unknown number. Yes.
I'm sorry.
For all of this. Unknown number. Did you read the journal?
Yes.
Where are you? Are you safe? Unknown number. Safe is relative.
I'm alive.
That's what matters. The USB drive. Where is it? Unknown number. Our fort. The one we built the summer before high school. It's waterproofed in a plastic container under the floorboards. The fort. Deep in these same woods, another quarter-mile in. They'd built it from scrap wood and childhood determination, a place their parents never knew existed. Emma, you need to go to the FBI. Agent Dawson said you contacted him. He can protect you. 3 dots appeared. Disappeared. Appeared again. Unknown number. I can't trust him, Claire. I can't trust anyone except you. Why not? He seems unknown number because Dad operates on FBI agents' families. Because our parents donate to every politician and law enforcement charity in California. Because money and access mean they have people everywhere. Unknown number. Dawson might be clean. Or he might be on their payroll. I can't risk it. Claire's stomach dropped. If they couldn't trust the FBI, if her parents' influence reached that far, then Emma was right to run. What do you need me to do? Unknown number. Get the USB drive. Make copies. Send them everywhere, media, FBI, DOJ, every news outlet you can think of. Flood the zone so they can't contain it. Unknown number. But Claire, once you do this, there's no going back. They'll come after you too. You need to decide if you're ready for that. Was she ready to destroy her family? To become a target? Claire thought of Emma's laugh. Her wild hair. The way she'd always stood up for the underdog. Even when it cost her. I'm ready. Where do I send the copies? Unknown number. I'll send you a list. But first, get out of there.
Now.
You've been there too long. They'll have figured out where you went. As if on cue, Claire heard it. The snap of a branch. Footsteps. Coming from the direction of the house. She killed the phone's light and pressed herself against the oak tree, heart hammering. 2 figures moved through the woods. Flashlight beams cutting through darkness. She has to be here, a man's voice said. Not her father. Someone else. The GPS showed her phone stationary in this area for 20 minutes before she turned it off. They'd tracked her old phone. Even after she'd turned it off. Spread out, a second voice commanded. She's looking for something. Find it first. Claire didn't breathe. Didn't move. The journal was clutched against her chest, evidence that could destroy everything her parents had built. The footsteps came closer. Closer. A flashlight beam swept past her hiding spot, missing her by inches. And then her old phone, the one in her car, 2 blocks away, began to ring. Both men's heads snapped toward the sound. The car. She's at the car. They ran, crashing through underbrush. Claire waited 30 seconds. Then she moved in the opposite direction, deeper into the woods, toward the fort, toward the truth that might kill her. Behind her, men shouted. Searched. Hunted. Drop a comment if you'd run or fight, because Claire's about to have to do both. And if this story has you on the edge of your seat, subscribe right now because this story is going to flip everything you think you know. The fort was still standing. Claire found it by memory and moonlight, a crooked structure of weathered plywood hidden in a thicket of manzanita. 15 years, and it hadn't collapsed. Emma had built things to last. Claire crawled inside, her designer funeral dress snagging on splinters. The space was smaller than she remembered, barely enough room to crouch. But it still smelled like childhood, like the lavender sachets Emma used to hang from the rafters to keep out spiders. The sachets were gone, but the memory remained. Claire pulled out the burner phone, using its dim light to search the floor. The boards were swollen with age, gaps between them filled with dirt and leaves. She pried at the third board from the left, their secret spot, and it came up easier than expected. Someone had been here recently. Underneath, wrapped in layers of waterproof plastic, a USB drive. Claire grabbed it, her fingers closing around the small piece of metal and silicon that contained evidence worth killing for. Worth dying for. Her phone buzzed. Unknown number. Got it?
Yes.
Unknown number. Good. Now listen carefully. In 30 seconds, a man is going to find you. Don't run. His name is Jack Dawson. You said not to trust him. Unknown number, I lied. I needed to know if he was tracking you or helping you. He just called off Dad's security team, sent them searching the wrong direction. He's risking everything to protect you. Unknown number, Claire, I'm sorry. I had to be sure. Trust him. He's one of the good ones. Before Claire could respond, a figure appeared at the fort's entrance. Broad shoulders, expensive suit now dirt-stained. Storm gray eyes that found hers in the darkness. Jack Dawson, down on one knee, hands visible, non-threatening. Your sister's paranoid, he said quietly. But not wrong to be. She's alive, Claire whispered. I know. He glanced over his shoulder. We have maybe 2 minutes before your father's men regroup. We need to move.
Now.
How do I know I can trust you? You don't. He extended his hand. But Emma does, and she's the smartest person I've ever met. Even if she did fake her own death without telling me first. Claire stared at his hand.
Took it.
Let him pull her from the fort. They ran through the woods, Jack leading with the confidence of someone who'd scouted the terrain. Behind them, voices shouted. Flashlight beams swept through trees. How did you find me? Claire gasped. I've been following you since you left the funeral. Professionally. He helped her over a fallen log. Your sister asked me to keep you safe. She knew once she disappeared, you'd be their next target. She's been in contact with you? Since the day she died. He led her to a dark SUV hidden on a fire road. Get in. Claire hesitated at the door. Where is she? Safe house. Federal protection off the books. I'm not even supposed to know where, but Emma's stubborn about keeping me updated. He started the engine. She cares about you, Miss Brennan. Risked everything to keep you out of this.
Claire.
And she failed.
Claire clutched the USB drive.
I'm in it now. Yes, you are. Jack pulled onto the road, headlights off, navigating by moonlight. Which means we need to get you somewhere secure before your father realizes you have the evidence. What's on this drive? Jack's jaw tightened.
Hell.
Pure hell. Financial records showing your parents laundered over $40 million through the foundation. Patient files documenting unauthorized neurological experiments, 23 subjects over 6 years. Most of them died. The ones who survived. He shook his head. Your father used them to test experimental procedures. Brain implants. Neural modification. Called it research. It was torture. Claire tasted bile. My mother? CFO of the whole operation. The foundation was her idea. She recruited the patients, managed the money, covered the tracks. Jack finally turned on the headlights as they hit the highway. Your parents are psychopaths, Claire. Brilliant, charming, and completely devoid of conscience. And Nathan, my brother? Clueless, as far as we can tell. They kept him out of it. Too straight-laced, too ethical. Jack glanced at her. They kept you out of it too. Why? Emma wondered the same thing. Her theory? You were the normal one. Their proof they could produce a well-adjusted child. Their alibi against anyone who suspected them of being monsters. Claire laughed, bitter and sharp. I was their cover story. You were their favorite. Jack's voice softened. In their own twisted way, I think they love you, which makes you dangerous now that you know the truth. The SUV's headlights caught movement ahead. A black sedan, blocking the road. Jack swore and swerved onto an exit ramp. The sedan followed, accelerating. That's them. Claire gripped the door handle. Your father's security team. Private contractors. Not exactly gentle. Jack took a corner hard enough to throw Claire against the door. Hold on. They raced through empty Sausalito streets, the sedan gaining. Jack drove like he'd done this before, precise, controlled, dangerous. But the sedan was faster. It pulled alongside them. The rear window rolled down. Claire saw the gun at the same moment Jack shouted, "Down." She dropped as the window exploded, glass raining like diamonds. Jack swerved hard right into a parking garage. The sedan followed. Up the spiral ramps, higher, faster, until they burst onto the roof level. Dead end. Jack slammed the brakes. Spun the wheel. The SUV pivoted 180 degrees, facing back toward the entrance. The sedan appeared, blocking their only exit. Both vehicles sat there, engines running, headlights bright in the darkness. Claire, Jack said quietly. In the glove box. There's a gun. Take it. Her hands shook as she opened the compartment. The weapon was cold, heavy, real. I've never. Point and shoot if you have to. Safety's off. The sedan's doors opened. Two men emerged, both armed. Then a third door opened. Driver's side. Dr. Thomas Brennan stepped out, looking every inch the concerned father. Claire, sweetheart, he called across the roof. You're not well. You're having a breakdown. We need to get you help. Stay in the car, Jack muttered. But Claire was already opening her door, standing, the USB drive in one hand and Jack's gun in the other. I found Emma's evidence, she shouted. I know what you did. What you both did. Her father's expression didn't change. Still calm. Still in control. Emma was sick, Claire. Paranoid. She invented conspiracies because she couldn't handle reality. And now you're doing the same thing. He took a step forward. Put down the gun.
Come home.
We'll get you the treatment you need. Stop. Claire raised the weapon, surprised by how steady her hands were. Don't come closer. You won't shoot me. You're not like Emma. You're good. You're ours. Behind her, Jack exited the SUV, his own gun drawn. Dr. Brennan, you're under investigation for wire fraud, medical malpractice, and murder. Tell your men to stand down. Thomas finally looked at Jack. Really looked at him. And smiled. Agent Dawson. Emma's crusader. I wondered when you'd appear. He pulled out his phone. Made a call. Yes, this is Dr. Thomas Brennan. I need to report a federal agent who's abducted my daughter. Armed and dangerous. We're at the Bridgeway parking structure. Please hurry. He hung up. You see, Agent Dawson, I operate on the police chief's wife. The mayor's father. The district attorney's mother. This city runs through my hands. Literally. Thomas pocketed his phone. So you can arrest me, or you can let my daughter go and disappear. Your choice. But local PD will be here in 3 minutes, and they'll side with me. Claire watched her father. This man she'd loved, feared, tried desperately to please her entire life, and saw him clearly for the first time. A monster in a surgeon's coat. Claire, Jack said. We need to go.
Now.
But Claire wasn't looking at Jack. She was looking past her father, at the figure emerging from the stairwell behind him. A woman in dark clothes. Hood up. Moving like a shadow. The woman pulled back her hood.
Emma.
Alive.
Real.
Here. Their father spun around, shock finally cracking his composed mask. Hello, Dad, Emma said, raising her own weapon. Surprise. I'm harder to kill than you thought. Who saw that coming? Emma's alive. She's armed, and this family reunion is about to get deadly. Tell me in the comments, Team Emma or Team Jack? And if you haven't subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? What happens next is going to break your heart. For 3 seconds, nobody moved. Emma stood 10 feet from their father, gun steady, eyes hard in a way Claire had never seen. This wasn't the wild, laughing sister Claire remembered. This was someone forged in fire, sharpened by betrayal.
Emma.
Thomas found his voice first, smooth as glass. Thank God. We thought you were dead. Your mother will be. Mom knows exactly where I am. Emma's smile was razor-thin. She's known since the beginning. Isn't that right, Mother? From the stairwell behind Emma, Diane Brennan emerged. Elegant even now, her funeral dress replaced with black tactical pants and a cashmere sweater. A gun hung loose in her hand. You always were too clever for your own good, Diane said softly. I told your father we should have handled this differently. Claire's world tilted sideways. Her mother, her refined, book club attending, charity gala throwing mother, holding a weapon like she'd done it 1,000 times. Claire, darling, Diane continued. Put down the gun. You're going to hurt yourself. Stay back, Claire choked out. Sweetheart, we're your parents. We've only ever wanted what's best for you. Diane moved closer, graceful as a dancer. Emma filled your head with lies.
She's sick.
She needs help. I have the files, Claire said. The USB drive. Evidence of everything you did. Evidence. Thomas laughed, warm and paternal. That can be explained.
Contextualized.
We've done nothing wrong, Claire. The Foundation's research has saved lives. Revolutionary work in neural regeneration. Yes, we pushed boundaries, but progress requires sacrifice. You killed people, Emma said. 23 homeless individuals, immigrants without papers. People you thought no one would miss. We gave them purpose, Diane corrected. They contributed to science, to the betterment of humanity. Claire stared at her mother, searching for any hint of the woman who'd braided her hair, attended her school plays, told her she was loved. But those ice-blue eyes were empty of everything except calculation. You're insane, Claire whispered. We're visionaries, Thomas said. And you're our daughter. You'll understand in time. The work we're doing, Claire, we're on the verge of curing Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, traumatic brain injuries. But the FDA, the ethics boards, they're decades behind. We had to find another way. By torturing people, Jack said. His gun was still trained on Thomas's security team. By experimenting on patients who couldn't consent. By saving millions, Diane snapped. Agent Dawson, you're young. You see the world in black and white. But we work in the gray spaces where real change happens. Behind them, sirens wailed. Getting closer. Your police friends, Emma said to their father. Right on schedule. Last chance, girls, Thomas said. Walk away from this. Agent Dawson disappears with his conspiracy theories. We go home as a family. Grieve Emma properly. Move forward. And if we don't? Claire asked. Diane's gun rose, pointing at Claire's chest. Then we adjust the narrative. Emma kidnapped you, brainwashed you. You died trying to escape. We grieve both our daughters. The Foundation continues. Claire's blood turned to ice. Her mother was going to kill her. Actually kill her. You can't, Claire breathed. I'm your daughter. You're a liability, Diane said.
No worms. No hesitation.
I loved you, Claire. I did. But I love the work more. Emma moved then, putting herself between Claire and their mother. You want to shoot someone, shoot me. I'm the one who stole your files. I'm the one who went to the FBI. Oh, darling, I plan to. Diane's finger tightened on the trigger. But Claire first. She needs to understand that choices have consequences. The gunshot cracked like thunder. Claire screamed, but the bullet never reached her. Jack had fired first, hitting Diane's shoulder. She spun, stumbled, but didn't fall. Her return shot caught Jack in the chest.
He dropped. No.
Claire ran to him, pressing her hands against the spreading red stain. His eyes were wide, shocked, fading. USB drive, he gasped. Send, everywhere. Emma fired at their mother, but Diane had taken cover behind a concrete pillar. Thomas's security team opened fire, muzzle flashes lighting the parking garage like fireworks. Emma grabbed Claire, dragged her behind the SUV. We have to go. Jack is dead or dying and we can't help him. Emma's face was streaked with tears. Claire, I need you to survive this. Please. The sisters ran for the stairwell as bullets pinged off concrete. Behind them, their father shouted orders, his calm physician's voice directing his men like he was in surgery. They made it to the second floor when Emma suddenly stopped, gasping.
Claire looked down.
Blood bloomed across Emma's side, dark and wet. No, no, no. Claire pressed her hand against the wound. Ricochet, Emma managed.
I'm okay.
Keep moving. But she wasn't okay. Claire could see it in her pale face, her labored breathing. They stumbled down to the ground floor, burst through the exit into night air. Police cars surrounded the building. 6 of them, lights flashing. Help! Claire screamed. We need help. Officers emerged, guns drawn. But they weren't pointing at Thomas Brennan or his armed security team. They were pointing at Emma and Claire. On the ground, an officer shouted.
Now!
We're the victims.
Claire cried.
Our parents. Dr. Brennan called in a hostage situation. Said his daughters were kidnapped by a rogue FBI agent. The officer moved closer. You're armed. Drop the weapons. Claire still had Jack's gun. Emma's was in her hand, blood dripping from her fingers. This was it. The trap. Their parents had called the police, spun the story, turned Claire and Emma into the criminals. Do it, Emma whispered. Drop the gun. Claire let the weapon fall, raised her hands. Emma did the same, then collapsed. Officers swarmed them. Claire was thrown to the ground, zip ties cutting into her wrists. Someone was reading them their rights, while Emma bled out 3 feet away. She needs a hospital. Claire screamed. She's getting one, the officer said. County General. Where their father was chief of neurosurgery. Where he could finish what Diane had started. Claire watched them load Emma into an ambulance, her sister's eyes finding hers one last time.
I'm sorry, Emma mouthed.
Then the doors closed. Thomas and Diane emerged from the parking garage, Diane clutching her wounded shoulder, both of them disheveled and perfect in their victim roles. Thank God, Thomas said to the police. Thank God you got here in time. Is Agent Dawson?
Dead, sir.
I'm sorry. Thomas's face crumpled with practiced grief. He seemed like such a good man. I can't believe he did this. Diane moved to Claire, who was being loaded into a police car. Baby, it's over. You're safe now. We'll get you help. Get you well. Her mother's hand touched Claire's cheek, gentle and monstrous. I'll kill you, Claire whispered. I swear to God I'll. Sure. Diane smiled. You're traumatized. You don't know what you're saying. The police car door slammed. Through the window, Claire watched her parents embrace, wounded but victorious. Watched the ambulance carrying Emma disappear into the night. The USB drive was still in her pocket, evidence that could destroy them. But Claire was in custody, Emma was bleeding, Jack was dead, and their parents controlled everything. They'd lost. This is not how it ends, right? Drop a comment if you believe Claire can still win this, because I need to know you're still with me. And hit that subscribe button because this is where everything changes, I promise. The interrogation room smelled like stale coffee and defeat. Claire had been sitting here for 3 hours, zip ties replaced with handcuffs, while detectives came and went with sympathetic faces and leading questions. You've been through a trauma, Detective Martinez said for the 3rd time. It's normal to feel confused. Angry at your parents. But kidnapping? That's serious, Claire. I wasn't kidnapped. Agent Dawson was protecting me. From your parents? The people who've spent the last week grieving your sister? Martinez slid a photo across the table. Jack Dawson, dead on the parking garage roof. This man filled your head with conspiracy theories. Made you paranoid. It happens. Claire stared at the photo, rage building like pressure behind her eyes. Check his credentials. He's FBI. He was investigating my parents for.
We did check.
Agent Dawson was on administrative leave, pending psych evaluation. Martinez's voice was gentle, practiced. He wasn't authorized to investigate anyone. He was sick, Claire. And he made you sick too. The room spun. Administrative leave. They'd gotten to the FBI, discredited Jack before he could build his case. Where's my sister? Is Emma okay? Your sister's in surgery. Your father's operating personally. Best neurosurgeon in California, remember? Martinez stood. You should be grateful. Most dads can't save their daughters' lives. The words hit like ice water. Thomas Brennan had Emma on an operating table. Alone. Unconscious. He could do anything to her. No. Claire lunged against her handcuffs. You can't let him near her. He'll kill her. Ms. Brennan, you need to calm down. Martinez signaled to someone outside. We're getting you a psych eval. For your own safety. The door opened. A nurse entered with a syringe. No, Claire thrashed, but 2 officers held her down. The needle pierced her arm, cold liquid flooding her veins. Just something to help you relax, the nurse said. Claire's vision blurred. The room tilted. She felt herself sliding away, consciousness fracturing. The last thing she saw was her mother entering the room, perfectly composed despite the bandage on her shoulder. My poor baby, Diane whispered. Don't worry. We'll take care of everything. Claire woke to fluorescent lights and the smell of antiseptic. Hospital room. Private. Expensive. Her wrists were restrained to the bed rails with soft cuffs. Medical restraints, not police issue. Psychiatric hold. The door opened. Nathan walked in, his face creased with concern. Behind him, their parents. Claire. Nathan grabbed her hand. Jesus, what happened? Mom and Dad said you were kidnapped, that you tried to shoot them. Nathan, listen to me. She's not well, Thomas interrupted smoothly. The trauma of Emma's death triggered a psychotic break. It happens, especially with family history. What family history? Claire demanded. Your maternal grandmother, Diane said. Schizophrenia. We never told you girls. Didn't want to worry you. She dabbed at her eyes. But it's genetic, darling. You need treatment. I'm not crazy. They're lying. Claire looked at Nathan, desperate. The foundation is a front for money laundering. They've been experimenting on people. I have proof, the USB drive. She stopped. Felt her pocket. Empty. Looking for this? Thomas pulled out the drive. Interesting collection of files. Fictional patient records. Forged financial documents. You put a lot of work into this delusion. Those aren't fake. Emma gave them to me. Emma's dead, Nathan said quietly. Claire, we buried her yesterday. You were there. Claire's heart stopped.
No.
She's alive. She was at the parking garage. She was shot. There was no one else at that parking garage except you, Agent Dawson, and the security team Dad hired to find you. Nathan's voice broke. Claire, you're sick. You need help. He believed them. Of course he did. Perfect Nathan, who'd never questioned their parents, who'd built his life on the foundation of their lies. Check the hospitals, Claire said. Emma Brennan. Gunshot wound. She's here somewhere. There's no Emma checked into any hospital in the Bay Area, Thomas said. We already looked, hoping you were right. Hoping it wasn't a delusion. He moved closer, his face the picture of paternal concern. But sweetheart, you're seeing things that aren't there. Believing things that aren't true. Claire pulled against the restraints. You're gaslighting me. You're making everyone think I'm crazy so they won't believe the truth. The truth, Diane said softly, is that you need treatment. We've arranged a private facility. Excellent care. You'll be comfortable. You mean you're locking me away? We're saving you, Thomas corrected. From yourself. Nathan squeezed her hand. It's the best place, Claire. I toured it this morning. It's more like a spa than a hospital. You'll get therapy, medication, rest. And when you're better, you can come home. I'm not going anywhere with them. You don't have a choice, Thomas said. We're your next of kin. You're a danger to yourself and others. The court agreed to a 72-hour hold, extendable if necessary. Claire saw it then, the trap closing completely. They discredited Jack, disappeared Emma, stolen the evidence, and now they were erasing Claire too. Not with a bullet, but with a diagnosis. She'd disappear into a psychiatric facility, pumped full of drugs, her testimony worthless. And no one would ever believe her. Nathan. She locked eyes with her brother.
Please.
I know how this sounds, but I'm not crazy. I'm not.
Call the FBI.
Ask for Jack Dawson's supervisor. Someone has to know what he was investigating. I already did, Nathan said gently. They said Dawson was obsessed with a case that didn't exist. That he'd been acting erratically for months. He touched her face. I'm sorry, Claire. I wish you were right. I wish Emma was alive. But she's not. Thomas checked his watch. The transport arrives in 20 minutes. You should say goodbye, Nathan. Can I have a minute alone with her? Nathan asked. Their parents exchanged glances. 5 minutes, Diane said. They left. Nathan waited until the door closed. Then he pulled out his phone and held it up. On the screen, a news article. FBI agent Jack Dawson found dead. Mental health struggles cited. Claire's heart sank. Then Nathan swiped to the next image. An email. From Jack Dawson. Sent to Nathan's address at 3:47 a.m. that morning, hours after Jack had died. Dead man's switch. If you're reading this, I'm dead. Your sister Claire is in danger. So is Emma. Attached is everything I have on your parents. Get this to the U.S. Attorney's Office. Trust no one local. Claire's breath caught. Nathan swiped again. Files.
Dozens of them.
Financial records. Patient files. Everything from Emma's USB drive. Jack sent you the evidence? He sent it to 15 different people, Nathan whispered. Journalists, federal prosecutors, congressional oversight committees. It went out automatically when his heartbeat stopped. He was wearing a medical monitor. Claire started crying. You believe me? I'm looking at proof that our parents are monsters. So yeah, I believe you. Nathan's jaw was tight. And Emma?
She's alive.
At least she was 3 hours ago. They have her somewhere in this hospital. Nathan nodded slowly. Dad said he had to do an emergency surgery tonight. Unscheduled. He cleared his entire surgical team, said he wanted privacy for a sensitive procedure. That's her. Nathan, he's going to kill her. Not if I find her first. Nathan stood. The transport gets here in 20 minutes. I'll cause a scene, delay them. You need to get out of here and find Emma before Dad finishes whatever he's doing.
How? I'm restrained.
Nathan pulled a key from his pocket. Hospital issue restraint key. Stole it from the nurse's station. You've got maybe 10 minutes before someone notices. He unlocked her cuffs. Operating rooms are on the 4th floor. Dad's private suite is 4C. If Emma's anywhere, she's there. Claire rubbed her wrists. They'll know you helped me.
Good.
I want them to know. Nathan's eyes were hard, unfamiliar. They killed my sister. Or tried to. And they've been experimenting on people like they're lab rats. Whatever happens next, I'm done protecting them. He moved to the door.
Paused.
Claire? Be careful. Dad's security team is still in the building. Then he was gone. Claire stood on shaky legs. She'd been sedated, restrained, gaslit, and nearly broken. But Emma was alive. Jack's evidence was spreading. And Claire had one chance to save her sister. She cracked open the door, checking the hallway. Empty. The nurse's station was 20 feet away, but the nurse on duty was focused on her computer. Claire slipped out, barefoot and silent, still wearing her hospital gown. The elevator was too risky. She took the stairs, climbing from the second floor to the fourth, every step feeling like walking toward her own execution. Fourth floor. Operating suites. Suite 4C sat at the end of the hall, isolated from the others. Through the small window, Claire could see her father in full surgical gear, bent over a table. On that table, unconscious and intubated, Emma. Thomas's hands moved with precision, drilling into Emma's skull. Claire's vision went red. She burst through the door. Finally, Claire's fighting back. Tell me in the comments, what would you do right now? And if your heart is pounding, subscribe because this is the showdown you've been waiting for. Thomas Brennan looked up from his sister's exposed brain with the mild irritation of a man interrupted during important work.
Claire.
You should be sedated. He didn't even put down his drill. Security will be here in 30 seconds. Step away from her. Claire's voice was steadier than her hands. She grabbed a surgical tray, sending instruments clattering.
Now.
Or what? You'll throw a scalpel at me? Thomas smiled beneath his surgical mask. Darling, I'm performing delicate neurosurgery. One wrong move, and Emma dies on this table. Is that what you want? Claire's eyes flew to the monitors. Emma's vitals were stable, but her skull was open, her brain exposed. One slip, one mistake, and her sister would be gone forever. What are you doing to her? Saving her life, initially. The gunshot wound caused subdural bleeding. But since I have the opportunity, he gestured to a tray of small electronic devices. Neural implants. My life's work. They can modify memory, suppress cognitive function, alter personality. Emma will wake up with no memory of the Foundation, no desire to investigate us. She'll be compliant, grateful, perfect. You're going to lobotomize her. I'm going to fix her. Thomas selected one of the implants. Just like I'll fix you, once security brings you back. You'll both be so much happier without all those troublesome questions. The door burst open. Not security, Nathan, carrying a fire extinguisher. He swung it at their father's head. Thomas ducked, the extinguisher missing by inches. Nathan, have you lost your mind? That's ironic coming from you. Nathan moved between Thomas and the surgical table. Step away from Emma.
Now.
She'll die without immediate intervention. Then I'll intervene. A new voice. A woman in scrubs pushed past Claire into the operating room. Dr. Sarah Chen, Emma's best friend from medical school. I'm a neurosurgeon too, Dr. Brennan. And unlike you, I actually have ethics. Thomas's composure finally cracked. How did you? Jack Dawson sent me everything before he died. I've been waiting outside this hospital for 3 hours, ready to document whatever you tried. Sarah moved to Emma's side, assessing the damage. The subdural hematoma is evacuated. She's stable. She doesn't need implants. She needs closure. You can't prove anything, Thomas said, backing toward the door. Actually, we can. Another figure appeared. FBI agent Lisa Morrison, Jack Dawson's supervisor, with 4 armed agents behind her. Dr. Thomas Brennan, you're under arrest for wire fraud, medical malpractice, and the murder of 23 individuals. This is absurd. My lawyers are already being contacted, as is your wife. Morrison nodded to her team. She's in the parking lot, attempting to flee. We have her in custody. Thomas's face went white, then red, then something beyond fury, a cold calculation that made Claire's skin crawl. He lunged for Emma. Nathan tackled him, both men crashing into the surgical equipment. The drill skittered across the floor. Thomas grabbed it, swung it at Nathan's head. Claire screamed. But Nathan was faster, younger, angrier. He caught Thomas's wrist, twisted, and the drill clattered away. They grappled, father and son, 32 years of lies and control breaking down into pure violence. You killed people. Nathan's voice cracked. You experimented on human beings like they were nothing. They were nothing. Thomas roared, the mask finally dropping. Homeless addicts. Ilegal immigrants. Society's refuse. I gave them purpose. I used them to perfect techniques that will save millions. Nathan's fist connected with Thomas's jaw. Their father dropped. FBI agents swarmed, cuffing Thomas while he continued shouting about his research, his vision, his right to push boundaries. Claire ignored him, moved to Emma's side, taking her sister's hand while Dr. Chen worked. Is she going to be okay? Claire whispered. The bullet wound was clean. Your father actually did repair the damage correctly before he started his psychotic modification plan. Sarah's hands moved with practiced precision. I'm closing her up now. She should wake up in a few hours, fully herself. Fully herself. Claire started crying, relief and rage and love pouring out in messy sobs. Nathan appeared beside her, his knuckles bloody. Is she? She's going to be fine, Sarah said. Thanks to all of you. Agent Morrison approached. Ms. Brennan, we need your statement. And the USB drive. My father took it. We recovered it from his pocket. But we'll need you to verify its contents, testify about. Morrison paused at Claire's expression. Later. That can all happen later. For now, be with your sister. The FBI led Thomas away in handcuffs, still ranting about his research, about breakthrough procedures, about how history would vindicate him. Claire watched him go, this man who'd taught her to ride a bike, who'd attended her graduations, who'd smiled at her over family dinners while planning monstrous experiments in the basement of his foundation. I loved him, she said quietly. Is that insane? After everything, part of me still loves him. That's not insane, Nathan said. That's human. They were good at pretending to be parents. Good enough that we believed it. Emma didn't. Emma was always smarter than us. Nathan squeezed Claire's shoulder. She's going to be okay. We're all going to be okay. 2 hours later, Emma's eyes opened. Claire was there holding her hand. Nathan on the other side. Dr. Chen monitoring vitals. Hey, Claire Bear. Emma whispered, her voice rough from intubation. Hey. Claire couldn't stop smiling through tears. You're alive. You're really alive. Told you I was hard to kill. Emma tried to sit up, winced. Did we win? Mom and Dad are in federal custody. The foundation is being seized. Jack's evidence went to every major news outlet and federal agency. Claire showed her phone. The screen filled with breaking news alerts. Prominent surgeon arrested in medical experimentation scandal. Brennan Foundation under investigation. Victims identified. Emma's eyes filled with tears. Jack. He died saving me, but he made sure they couldn't cover it up. Claire's voice broke. He set up a dead man switch. The moment his heart stopped, everything went public. He was one of the good ones, Emma whispered. He was. They sat in silence, two sisters who'd survived their parents' monstrosity, holding hands like they had as children. Nathan cleared his throat. The U.S. attorney wants to offer us witness protection. New identities, relocation, the whole thing. With Mom and Dad's connections, we might need it. Or, Emma said slowly, we testify.
Publicly.
Tell the world exactly who they are and what they did. Make sure no one ever trusts the Brennan name again. Claire thought about it. About hiding versus fighting. About the 23 people who died because no one was watching, no one was asking questions. I want to testify, Claire said. I want everyone to know. Me too, Nathan added. Emma smiled. Weak but genuine. Then that's what we'll do. Together. Dr. Chun checked Emma's monitors. You need rest. Serious rest. No destroying your parents' legacy for at least 48 hours. Spoil sport, Emma muttered, but her eyes were already closing. Claire stayed, watching her sister sleep. Really sleep, not unconscious from surgery or sedation, but genuine rest. Outside the window, dawn broke over San Francisco, the city waking up to headlines that would change everything. Claire's phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. Unknown number. Jack Dawson left something for you. At his apartment, 2847 Lombard Street. Go when you're ready. Agent Morrison. Claire stared at the message. Jack had left her something. A final message from a man who died protecting the truth. She'd go.
Soon.
But first, she'd sit with Emma. With Nathan. With the shattered remains of their family and figure out how to build something real from the rubble. The Brennan name would be synonymous with horror now. With exploitation and murder and psychopathy. But Claire, Emma, and Nathan would reclaim it. Would testify. Would make sure every victim was named, honored, remembered. They'd lost their parents. But they'd found each other again. And sometimes that was enough. Almost there. One more part to go. Drop a comment if you're proud of these siblings for choosing truth over comfort. And if you've made it this far without subscribing, what are you doing? Hit that button because the conclusion is going to wrap this up perfectly. 3 months later, Claire stood outside Jack Dawson's apartment building, the same address Agent Morrison had texted her the morning after Emma's surgery. She'd waited. Through the media firestorm. Through the preliminary hearings. Through Emma's recovery and Nathan's breakdown and the slow, painful process of learning who they were without the Brennan legacy. Now, finally, she was ready. The landlord had kept Jack's apartment sealed, waiting for family to claim his belongings. But Jack had no family. His parents were dead, no siblings, no wife. Just his work, his crusade. And apparently something meant for Claire. Agent Morrison met her at the door. You sure you want to do this alone? I'm sure. Morrison handed her a key. He was a good man. One of the best agents I ever worked with. I should have believed him sooner. He knew the risks, Claire said softly. He chose them anyway. Inside, Jack's apartment was exactly what she expected. Sparse, organized, filled with case files and coffee cups. A life lived in service of justice. On the kitchen table sat a box with her name on it. Claire opened it with shaking hands. Inside, a letter, a flash drive, and a photograph. The photo showed Jack and Emma together, sitting in what looked like a coffee shop. Emma was laughing, her whole face bright with joy. Jack was smiling. Really smiling, not the serious federal agent expression Claire had seen. They'd been more than colleagues. Claire's throat tightened as she read the letter. Dear Claire, if you're reading this, I'm dead and Emma is hopefully safe. I'm sorry I didn't tell you everything. Emma made me promise to keep you out of it as long as possible. She was trying to protect you. I met your sister 6 months ago when she walked into the FBI field office with a folder full of financial irregularities. She was terrified and brilliant and so determined to do the right thing, even knowing it would destroy her family. We worked together for 3 months building the case. And somewhere along the way, I fell in love with her. I know. Unprofessional. Dangerous. Stupid. All of the above. But Emma she was everything. Light and fire and courage. When your parents figured out what she was doing, when we realized they'd arranged the accident, I wanted to put her in witness protection immediately. But Emma refused. She said you'd come looking for her. Said she needed to leave breadcrumbs only you would understand. She was right. You found every clue. You trusted her even when the whole world said she was dead. The flash drive contains my personal recordings, conversations with Emma, our investigation notes, everything that didn't make it into the official FBI files. It's yours now. Her story in her own words. Take care of her, Claire. Take care of each other. And thank you for being the kind of sister worth coming back from the dead for.
Jack.
Claire pressed the letter to her chest, crying for the man who'd loved her sister, who died protecting both of them. She plugged the flash drive into Jack's laptop. Video files.
Dozens of them.
She clicked the first one. Emma's face filled the screen, younger than Claire remembered, nervous but determined. Agent Dawson, this is Emma Brennan. It's October 15th. I'm here to report financial crimes committed by the Brennan Foundation for Neurological Research. Claire watched her sister lay out the entire case, the shell companies, the offshore accounts, the patient files. Watched Emma's hands shake as she described what their father did in his private surgical suite. Then later videos, after Emma and Jack had gotten closer. Emma laughing at something off camera. Jack's voice. You can't put that in the official report, Em. Emma's response. Watch me. The trust between them was obvious. The love, even more so. The final video was dated 6 days before Emma's death. Emma looked directly at the camera, serious now. If you're watching this, Claire, it means I'm gone, and you've found Jack's backup files. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry I dragged you into this. But I need you to know something. Emma took a shaky breath. I'm not brave.
I'm terrified.
Terrified of what Mom and Dad will do when they find out. Terrified I'll lose you and Nathan. Terrified I'm making the worst mistake of my life. Tears streamed down Emma's face. But I keep thinking about those 23 people who died. Who had no one to speak for them. No one to care. And I think, if I don't do this, if I stay quiet to protect myself, then I'm just like them. Just another Brennan who values reputation over human life. Emma wiped her eyes. So I'm doing this. I'm testifying. And if it all goes wrong, if they kill me or disappear me or lock me away, promise me you'll finish it. Promise me you'll make sure everyone knows the truth. Emma smiled through her tears. I love you, Claire Bear. You're the best thing Mom and Dad ever made. Don't let them take that from you. The video ended. Claire sat in Jack's empty apartment, crying for everything they'd lost and everything they'd saved. 6 months after that, Claire stood in federal court beside Emma and Nathan. Their parents sat at the defense table in prison jumpsuits, their expensive lawyers whispering urgently. Thomas looked smaller somehow, diminished without his white coat and authority. Diane looked the same, cold, composed, refusing to break even now. Ms. Brennan, the prosecutor said, please tell the court what you discovered on the night of your sister's funeral. Claire took a breath, looked at Emma, who nodded encouragement, and she told them everything. The text messages, the guest book, the journal, the USB drive, the parking garage, Jack's sacrifice. The courtroom was silent except for her voice. When she finished, the prosecutor played video testimony from the survivors, 3 patients who'd endured Thomas Brennan's experimental procedures and lived. Their stories were horrific, heartbreaking, undeniable. Then Emma testified. Then Nathan. Then Dr. Chun and Agent Morrison and a parade of experts who'd examined the Foundation's records. By the time the prosecution rested, there was no question of guilt. The jury deliberated for 47 minutes. Guilty on all counts. Thomas showed no emotion as the verdict was read. Diane dabbed at dry eyes with a tissue. Claire felt nothing but relief. 1 year later, Claire stood on a beach in Oregon, watching waves crash against rocks. She'd moved here after the trial. Needed distance from San Francisco, from the Brennan name, from everything that had happened. She'd changed her last name legally, Claire Morrison now, in honor of the FBI agent who'd believed them and Jack who'd died for them.
Her phone rang. Emma.
Hey, stranger, Claire answered. Hey yourself. How's the beach?
Cold.
Perfect. Claire smiled. How's the clinic? Emma had opened a free medical clinic in Oakland, serving the exact population their parents had exploited: homeless individuals, undocumented immigrants, people society forgot. She'd used the settlement money from the foundation's dissolution to fund it.
Busy.
Rewarding. I'm actually helping people instead of experimenting on them. Novel concept. Emma paused. Nathan's here. He's been volunteering on weekends. Nathan had quit his hedge fund job, started working in nonprofit finance, helping organizations like Emma's manage their money ethically, trying to atone for years of willful blindness. Tell him I said hi, Claire said. Tell him yourself. I'm putting you on speaker. Hey, Claire. Nathan's voice, warmer than she'd ever heard it. When are you coming to visit? Maybe next month. I'm thinking about moving back, actually. Really? Emma sounded delighted.
Yeah.
I mean, I've had my space, my time to heal, but I miss you guys. And I've been thinking. Claire watched a seagull dive for fish. There are 23 families who lost someone to mom and dad's experiments. Someone should help them navigate the Victim Compensation Fund. Make sure they get what they're owed. That's perfect, Emma said. Claire, that's exactly the kind of thing. I know. It's what Jack would want. What all those people deserve. Claire felt peace settling over her like sunlight. So yeah, I'm coming home. Not to San Francisco. That's still too much. But Oakland.
Near you guys.
We'll find you an apartment, Nathan said immediately. Something nice. Safe. Something cheap, Claire corrected. I'm done with Brennan money. With all of it. Fair enough. They talked for another 20 minutes, making plans, sharing stories, being siblings in a way they'd never been allowed to be growing up. When Claire hung up, she felt lighter. Her parents would spend the rest of their lives in federal prison. The Brennan Foundation was dissolved, its assets distributed to victims' families. The medical community had blacklisted the Brennan name from every institution. Thomas and Diane Brennan's legacy was complete destruction. But Claire, Emma, and Nathan were building something new. Something real. Something that honored the people their parents had hurt instead of erasing them. Claire pulled out the photograph from Jack's apartment, him and Emma, laughing together in that coffee shop. We did it, she whispered to Jack's image. She's safe. We're all safe. And we're making it right. The wind carried her words out to sea. Claire tucked the photo back in her pocket and headed home. Not to the beach house. Home to Oakland. To Emma and Nathan. To the family they'd chosen to become instead of the family they'd been born into. The Brennan name would be synonymous with horror in medical textbooks and true crime documentaries. But Claire Morrison, Emma Morrison, and Nathan Morrison? They'd be known for something better. For justice. For compassion. For choosing truth even when it cost them everything. And sometimes, losing everything was how you found what actually mattered. Claire smiled at the ocean one last time, then turned toward the future. Toward hope. Toward home. And that is how you survive your family being psychopaths. I want to hear from you. Drop a comment telling me what part hit you hardest. Was it Jack's sacrifice? Emma's bravery? The siblings finally finding each other? And if this story kept you on the edge of your seat for 9,000 plus words, do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button and share this with someone who loves a good thriller. More stories like this are coming, and I need you here for every single one. Thank you for taking this journey with Claire, Emma, and Nathan. Remember, family isn't always blood. Sometimes it's the people who stand beside you when everything falls apart. Until next time, stay curious, stay brave, and never stop asking questions.